fluid 4, he finally conceded the wisdom of our tactic. "You've got it right," he told me. I doubt the Air Force ever adopted our formation afterward, but it did me a world of good to know that Robin Olds seemed convinced. He would eventually upset the wrong people with his outspokenness on the errors of his service over Vietnam. I would have done anything to persuade this brilliant tactician, warrior, and disruptor to transfer to Miramar. Major command should have been his due. Handsome, well-spoken, and charming, he filled the bill like a rock star that evening, drawing a huge crowd. His speech was superb and very well received. In May 1971, Commander Roger Box succeeded J.C. Smith as officer in charge of Top Gun. A two-tour combat aviator and Navy test pilot, Roger had an agenda. He believed the time had come for Top Gun to become a standalone command. At the time, it was still just a department within the Phantom RAG. The RAG had the authority to move aircraft and people in and out of Top Gun at its discretion. Without control of its own assets, the school, in theory, could have been out of business overnight if the RAG decided its needs were more important than the fighter weapons schools. But Roger had an ace up his sleeve: the sympathy of the commander of Fleet Air Miramar, Captain Armistead "Chick" Smith. Roger, having served on his fighter wing staff, enjoyed good relations with him and approached him for help springing Top Gun free of control by the RAG. But there were problems. The CO of the RAG squadron at the time was Commander Don "Dirt" Pringle, a highly capable, well-respected officer who could overwhelm people merely with his presence. Under pressure to keep the RAG producing, Pringle didn't want to lose any of his prized aircraft to a separate Top Gun command. He needed the A4Es especially for his tactics shop. He was also hoping to begin doing what Top Gun had been doing. A key player in the fight for Top Gun independence turned out to be Lieutenant Commander Dave Frost, one of Roger Box's instructors and a brilliant tactician who succeeded Cobra Rulifson as schoolhouse specialist in the Sparrow missile. He was a member of the Annapolis class of 1963 and had graduated in the second Top Gun class. Dave and his fellow instructors wanted to build on what the first generation of Top Gun had accomplished. The manual needed updating, particularly because of all the real-world data the fleet was sending back as they began bagging MiGs. With our program getting results over North Vietnam, there was increased demand as well. We needed more adversary aircraft and skilled pilots than ever. But those resources were being pulled in 3 directions: training RAG students, supporting Top Gun classes, and working with the fleet's adversary training program to prepare deploying squadrons for combat. Something had to give. On the way back from a tactical conference at VX4, Frosty and fellow instructors Dave Berkey, Goose Lorcher, and Pete Pettigrew stopped for dinner in Malibu. They compiled their notes and drew diagrams on paper napkins. The changes that emerged from the Malibu conference were used to update the F4 tactics manual and maintenance plans. They thought that as the school evolved, it could have a greater impact as an independent command. But Pringle resisted. Scarcity of resources wasn't the only reason. There was also the issue of prestige. Though the public didn't know about Top Gun yet, the wider Navy certainly did, and the Air Force had taken notice too. Whichever command owned the Navy Fighter Weapons School stood to play a large role in defining the direction of tactics and training. Its officers stood to have their careers enhanced. That spring, Roger Box's influence with Chick Smith began showing some promise. Like all good leaders, Chick usually got people to work together. He directed a 90-day trial period in which Top Gun would operate semi-independently. At the end of that period, Chick would hold a conference to evaluate whether the trial balloon rose or popped. They blocked out some aircraft and people as their own and moved forward independently. Roger managed the 90 days without a hitch. Before the evaluation could take place, he was selected to command a fleet squadron. Dave Frost was left to represent Top Gun at a showdown with the Miramar Brain Trust. Roger's absence wasn't going to help the schoolhouse's cause at that meeting.